Thank you very much, John and brothers. It's a great blessing for me to be here, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity to share with you these important things. I know you will love to hear about what is happening with our heritage in our countries in Latin America. And my principal goal here is just to let you know, yes, you can partner with us, you can help us, you can do a lot of things, but the first thing and the more important thing is giving you a report of what is happening in the South, in not Georgia's in the South, right? But it's in this South of America, and show you what is happening with our faith. And so you can pray for us, and you can know, and you can recommend to people that maybe speak Spanish to know that all these resources are in our language. So I'm very, very glad for that opportunity. As John told us, the background of this book publishing house is theological training. In 2014, I had the privilege to meet Dr. Waldron in Colombia in a kind of module in a place where people come together, spend a week together with the teacher, and he was teaching there. So that was, a beautiful experience for me, and I was always thinking how I can bring some of these to my country. So I invited Dr. Waldron to come in 2015, and he was there teaching eschatology for us. There were around maybe 40 or 50 men listen to the class. And that was a great opportunity to think, what if we begin a seminary here with the support of CBTS helping us to send in teachers so we can train our people, we can have this opportunity. And we began that in 2016 and have been a wonderful blessing. But the Lord has been opening more and more doors. So right now we are in 5 or 6 countries that we are doing the same modules and working with people. But one of the big issues was, if we are training people and we are trained to teach them in our faith, they need our books. Because I remember many times the teacher saying something like, okay, what books do you have in Spanish for, I don't know, covenant theology? Oh, we have this one. Okay, from that one, just chapter 3. In that one, no, don't read that one. Just let's do that article, And so that was very problematic because many of the important books were not in our language, and you can understand and imagine how hard it is to try to train men, without the books they need to read. So that was the context of how we began to dream with this idea, putting our legacy, our particular Baptist legacy, in the hands of our churches in Latin America, in Spanish, in Spain. So here I put some of the pictures. This is Dr. Sam Renehan in Ecuador. That was last year. This is Pastor Ben Carson there in Ecuador. So this is the idea. We have been opening different places: Mexico, Brazil, Cuba, Ecuador, Colombia, Costa Rica. Last month with Pastor John, we were there. And we are hoping to open more and more places like Chile, Venezuela, and other countries, hoping to put our legacy in the minds, in the heart of our people. So that was the context. We need books. We need to work with that. I talked with Dr. Waldron, and he said, Jorge, I can help you. I will be there. Let me know what I need to do. So he has been a great blessing and contact. First, giving us our permission to translate all his books in Spanish, but at the same time talking to other brothers and say, hey, I recommend you to give them the permission. So have been a wonderful blessing. Let me tell you a little bit about the structure, the philosophy, and the vision we have as book publishing house. So our desire is showing what is our Baptist perspective, our legacy to our people. And that is one of the key things in our book publishing house. We are just focused on what we are. We think, so the Puritans have people that is translating them. Joel Beakey have people who is translating his books. But who will translate Nehemiah Cox or Benjamin Keach? Or, we are the one called to do that. So that's the focus we have with our editorial. And we are trying to work with these 4 principles that we believe it's very important. The first, this excellency in the work that we are doing. Something that I always try to remember and encourage our people to do. It's, we don't want our kids or our grandchildren saying, oh, my grandpa, he was a very passionate man. He really wanted to do this, but these translators were terrible, so we need to do it again. I'm thinking, no, I hope they receive the legacy and say, let's continue what they began, right? And so we are taking very seriously the work of translation. It's today, with all the technology we have, it's a kind of, easier than it was in the past. But we're trying to be very faithful. I was telling to some of the brothers, just as an example, we talked with Dr. James Renehan maybe 2 or 3 months ago about the translation of his commentary on the Confession of 1644. So we already finished that translation, and we had a meeting with Alain and Dr. Renehan and me for 3 hours, something like that, talking about questions. Dr. Renehan, what do you think about, what is the idea behind that word? Or what is the idea in this expression that the confession used? And, and he was very delighted. I can see his, teaching us and giving all this information. But then thinking like, hey, this footnote said this. What is, this is a typo. We need to change that. I'm putting trying to do the things like we don't want that when the time will judge us. We'll say, oh, that was, these people was very passionate about it, but they don't do, the work that they did was not good. So we are trying to be faithful to that. That's the reason sometimes we take a lot of time in books and translating and revising the books. And that is something that we want to do. The second thing is, I don't know how to say that word in English, accessibility. Well, you can read it. Yeah. And the idea is, I'm not a mayor translator, so I'm just the man who's leading these people. So you can be in peace about that. But the thing is, about this part is we try to put the books in the hands of our people. So because of that, we need to think in a very good way to distribute our books or put it in their hands. So, and we are very happy for the time that we are living. We have printing on demand almost in every place in Latin America. We have very good friends and brothers around different countries in Latin America, Spain. So our books are almost every Spanish-speaking country. Maybe 2 or 3 we are still working to find people that could print our books. And we're hoping that everybody who want to read James Renehan, they can have access to that book. That's our desire. And we know that there is not something that will be very popular, or maybe not that people will look for our books in a general sense. But if there's Reformed Baptist churches, we really want to give them our books in the country they are. The third thing is unity. We know that we are not the only one. There's beautiful people around our countries with the same thing in their hearts. I have a lot of friends. I was very happy to meet, for example, Alex Figueroa in Chile. And I was very happy to know that he was in a very strong relationship and friendship with Pastor Jerry. That was like, that's great. We're not the only one. So there's many people working, and we're trying to gathering and talking to them and see how we can work together. And that have been a great blessing and a good way to go faster in that sense. I'm working with some of the books, trying to put some books in Cuba. I know you love Cuba and you are involved with Cuba. We love Cuba too. And to put books in Cuba have been very hard. But we have been trying to find different ways. Hadniel Perez have been a blessing, sending books there, and I asked him what was the way, because I was asking how we can print books. Oh, Jorge, that is not an easy thing in Cuba. I know, but what is the way? So he explained me what he was doing. He printed the cover in Pensacola. And then he sent the cover in the luggage, that if somebody find that cover will have problems. But he put that in the luggage and he sent to Cuba. And then somebody print the internal part of the book in Cuba. And then he sent it. Gosh, could be a little easier, man. It's, but it's the only way to have books there. And I'm very happy that we have print like 100 or 200 copies of The Mystery of Christ by Sam Renehan there, Edification and Beauty, The Keys of the Kingdom of Heaven. All of that with all these very problematic and hard ways to do, but very thankful that we can work with others in that sense. And fourth, what I said about the theological education, we are thinking and focus on our people, training on people, how to teach our pastors and put the correct books in their hands. So that is some of the principles. This is the focus of our books. We have four things that we are thinking, or four things that we think when we want to pick a book. First, we want books by the particular Baptist. So we have been trying to work on individual works, historical documents, primary sources. We have already in Spanish the Glory of a True Church by Benjamin Keach. It's in Spanish. So we're trying to work with that. 3 years ago, my dad passed away. That was a very hard time for me. So I called Sam Renehan and said, brother, could you recommend me a book that I could translate, during I'm feeling this very deep pain? And he recommended me a book of Robert Purnell, that he's a particular Baptist, and he wrote about how short is life. And I can say that Robert Purnell was my pastor for that 3 months, maybe, when I was working with that. I'm very thankful that we have that type of books too. So, books by the particular Baptist. The second thing is books about the particular Baptist. So we're trying to put some biographies, Baptist history from historians, modern historians. We have Kiffin, Knowles, and Keach in Spanish by Michael Haken. We have the excellent Benjamin Keach by Austin Walker. And we are trying to work with some of these books. We are translating right now the PhD dissertation of Pastor and Dr. Jason Montgomery on Benjamin Beddome. So I need to talk more about that. We are working on that. So we are trying to put all these books, not just by the particular Baptist, about the particular Baptist, but another type of books will be works that influence the particular Baptist. So, and in this sense, we already translate The Keys of the Kingdom of Heaven by John Cotton. And we are trying to work, with books like that were very important for them, trying to understand all that context. We are hoping to translate the Bible commentary of Matthew Poole and other things like that in order to have, all this context that we know that was the context of our forefathers in that sense. And the fourth thing that we are thinking about our books, it's works by the descendants. That's where we put it, of the particular Baptist. So Sam Renehan, James Renehan, Barcellos, Waldron, and other people, even John Gill and other Baptists like them. So this is the four focus of our publishing books. We have a structure. We're trying to do the things the best way we can. So we have a board of directors. I am serving as the executive director of the book publishing house. And we work with the process, communication, the treasury and distribution, and we are trying to, to do the things better and better in that sense. So, okay, let me give you a little report of what is happening in the development of this publishing house. First, we have been publishing books, of course. So we are trying to do, last year was around 2 books per month or something like that. Some of them tiny books and other big books, but working with a lot of people and trying to be very faithful to that. So this is just an example of one of the books. This is God Without Passions by Sam Renehan. This is Kiffin, Knowles, and Keach by Michael Haken. This is the Lord's Day by Sam Waldron. This is How Should that one. The second London Confession. We made a good, something. This is very important for us. We said, and I remember a line telling me this from the beginning, Jorge, we need to do a translation of the Second London Confession. I said, but we already have one. And he said, yeah, but there is some issues, some words, some things that maybe could be better translated. So we worked on this maybe 3 years ago. And for the first time in Spanish, we have the introductory letter of the confession and the appendix of the confession, and have been a blessing. I was talking to the brothers a few minutes ago, saying it's amazing to talk with brothers, with pastors that, they hold the confession for, 20 years. And then saying, yeah, but the letter, what letter? Oh, let me read you the letter. And then, spending time with them, talking about that, seeing this very universal heart, to see like we are not the only one. We respect what the Presbyterian have done, and all of that have been a blessing for us to understand better the mind and the heart behind the text of our confession, the Baptist Catechism. So we have published in these years, beginning in 2019, in the end of the year, until today, we have published 62 books in these years. Have been it's amazing. We really love to see, how these books have been a great blessing for many people, and especially for us, working there. I had the privilege to translate the scriptural exposition of the Baptist Catechism by Benjamin Beddom. And I spent like a year doing that every, Monday afternoon or something like that, just spending 3 hours. And I wrote a little introduction saying, oh, Beddom is my friend. I've worked with him like a year. Sometimes trying to find where he quote that text because I don't find it. Like, what verse is that? All of that, but have been a great blessing to our souls. It's the same commentary with a line. When he finished, he said, oh, brother, thank you for giving me the privilege to revise this translation. Oh, man, have been wonderful for my soul. That's always the feeling that we have with these books. So we have been printing, not just publishing, but printing. And because of the time we are living, we have this printing on demand. That is a great blessing. So we can print our books in almost every country. Just, the number they want. If they want 10 books or 5, they can just print it. And there is another places that for some reason they don't have this print on demand. And we said they are doing the printing in the old-fashioned way. That means, printing and stocking the books and then selling to different places. But we are in almost every country in Latin America. So I want to show you some pictures just to see where we are. This is Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, United States. In Amazon, you can find all our books. Austria, Ecuador, Cuba, Canada, Mexico, Argentina, Paraguay, Guatemala, Chile. So it's amazing to see that. This is Dr. Renehan signing books, his books in Spanish. And this is one of the major book-selling houses in Chile. And that was amazing to see Richard Barcelo's books there, and in the midst of all these books that have access, many people and can see that books and maybe have the opportunity to buy. I know that this is the same thing in the United States, but in Latin America, almost everything you have in the book stores is prosperity gospel books and all of that. So it's very hard, like a company like this one, there is a big one, to give the permission to put our books there. So we are very thankful for that. Bolivia. I put this picture on purpose. You can see there the glory of a true church, printed in Bolivia and read by our brothers there. It's amazing to think on that. So this is just a picture of Amazon. You can find our books in Amazon too. So I put a little report of how many books do we have sale. And I need to tell you the truth. I was thinking in the first year, okay, I'm ready. If just 5 people in the world will read James Renehan book, I will be very happy with that, But then it's amazing to receive the reports of people from all around Latin America saying, Pastor, thank you very much for the efforts on this book. We are reading this with 10 other pastors, every Tuesday. Like, wow. And not just selling books or reading the books and trying to understand what the book is saying about. So it's amazing and have been a blessing. So this 10,000 books is a lot for us. It's amazing. And this is a report from maybe 5 months ago from Amazon. And in total, by Amazon and Latin America and Spain, we have sold something like this, 22,000 books in all these years, and we are very thankful for that. You need to understand that some of these books we give for free. In our books, every book have a little page that said, when you buy this book, you are giving the opportunity to us that we can give a free copy of this book to a worker of the Lord, in somewhere in Latin America. So, and the people, last time when I was in Cuba, some pastors in Ecuador said, please say hello to our brothers in Cuba and say to them that we are buying books because we know that when we buy that books, they will receive some books from us, and it's amazing trying to help to have this feeling that we are together on this, especially in a culture that we are, what we have been doing for the last maybe 50 or 60 years of missions have been just receiving. And we need to receive, and you need to give me, because that's the way to do the things. And it's amazing to think, no. We will do that, and we need our money to do that. And how we can have books in Cuba. Yeah, we can receive some help from other places, but this is our people. This is our language. So we are trying to encourage the people to do that, and have been a blessing to see all that results. We are not just publishing or printing, but we are trying to do some programs, sometimes monthly, sometimes every other week. But special programs like how to read Benjamin Bottom, because we understand it, and we are in the same position. When we receive the books the first time, maybe we do not understand. We read it and say, oh, this is very hard. This is new. So we are trying to invent all the time, inviting the teachers or the writer of the book to talk and say, hey, what was in your heart? Why you think this book's important? To whom you recommend that book? And trying to talking about the thesis of the book. And we have seen that is a great blessing, because the people could understand better than just see the book. Maybe our culture is different in that sense. We are not a reader culture. So we are trying to encourage the people to read and to help them to understand better. So that was a special program. Because I translate the book of Bottom, I had the privilege to teach them, hey, this is the way Bottom is doing the things here. So you can see the argument this way or that way, and giving some examples. And it's a blessing to see how the people receive that. It's a way to teach them and a way to encourage them to read our books too. We are posting almost every week some questions from the Orthodox Catechism in our Facebook page. We put phrases from our books like this, all the time putting the truth there and trying to see, hey, you can find this in this book, read this book, and have been a good thing too. We have people like Richard Barcelos explaining us books like Getting the Garden Right. I sometimes use the time that we have these special programs inviting other Reformed Baptist pastors to talk about, hey, tell me what are the books you are reading this year, and then encourage others. And that is great. We invite Pastor Austin Walker to be with us and speaking of. He was like very amazed and happy to see, are you serious that you were translating my book in Spanish? Yeah. And then it's published. Yeah. And then he was in Jim Sebastian's house that week. So he was listening to our questions, and he was encouraged the people to read the book. He explained us the 10 years he spent doing the investigation. That was other time, taking pictures of the original books and all of that. So it's fascinating. Ryan Davison have been with us too. We published these little 2 books that he have, the Green Pastures and I don't know the other name of the book in English, Festín Pactual. Yeah, the Covenant Meal or something like that. And we are using this program and spaces that we have in the social media to trying to show pastors from different countries in order that we can have like a reconciliation of others. So we begin this type of program, call it Hasta lo último de la tierra. That's the last part of the Matthew 28 commission. What is that? Until the end of the earth. To the all nations. So some pastors from different countries send me a little video saying his name. We are doing this. This is the process we are living as a church. We are studying the confession. We are, and then we give the information of that church. so that people could know and recognize others in that sense. And we are very happy to trying to encourage others to meet others in this way. We have right now 10,000 followers in Facebook, so that gives us like a very nice group of people that we can, when we put something, like the picture we post today, that we are here with you. So the people, it's all around and saying, it's great to know what is happening in this context. Some strategies, we asked the permission of the Illustrated Baptist Catechism, and we put it in Spanish too. We are working with Founders Press. I'm hoping to translate other books. They are very, very nice brothers and very open to talk. And I was, telling them, in the past we translate Getting the Garden Right and other books by founders. Now we are working with the books of James Renehan on the vindication of the truth, and then this commentary of the Second London Confession. And we are hoping to translate other books. So we have a very nice relationship with them, and we're very thankful for that. We are working with Chapel Library too. We have working maybe four projects together. They have the permission of a book. We translate or revise that book, and then they give us the permission to publish that book, and they have the permission to put it for free through all the ministry they are doing. I talked with Nate, and he said that they will use the translation we did of the confession as the confession they have in Spanish. So we are very happy to have all these links and working with others. Let me tell you very fast about some projects. This is something that we're doing. I have my heart on missions. And one of the big things that I'm thinking right now, it's if we are doing mission or we are helping other people, we want to give them the resources they need, in the sense of, books to read or something to study. And we begin this, call it to all nation, tribe, tongue, and people, that we are trying with a program of translation of our legacy to the languages of our Indian tribes in Latin America. So we are just beginning. This is the first year we are doing that. This is a copy of the 1689 Confession. We need to revise still, but it's the Confession in Quechua. That's the language of Indians that are in Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, and other places. And we are working in God's providence, the first Reformed Baptist church among these people. It's planned, and God's willing, the next year will be the ordination. Pastor John and I will be there, God's willing, and to see the ordination of the first pastor. He's a graduate of our seminary in Ecuador. We are very happy to see what is happening among our brothers in Quechua language. This is a copy of a picture of the cover of Baptist Catechism in Guarani. That's the language of Paraguay. And we are supporting a pastor with a monthly, and he's working. He already finished the catechism, and he's finishing right now the Second London Confession. We want, at least with the resources we have, at least the confession and the catechism so they can use that among the people. And there is a lot of languages in America that we need to reach in that sense. We are legacy. So we are very, very happy about this. And please pray for that. We need not just money to do that, but the correct people to do that. Because we are putting our faith in that language, and we need faithful people that take the time to do that, and all of that. This is one example of chapter 1, paragraph 1 of the confession in Guarani. So very, very excited about it. Another project that we are working is the John Gill project. We are working with Dr. Michael Haken. He's one of the advisors of this project. And we already published the biography wrote by John Rippon. And we are in the process of beginning the revision of the translation of the Body of Divinity of John Gill. We already translate the whole thing. It's like, we hope we will publish that in 7 books or something like that. And there's people helping us, supporting the project, and we are very happy because of that. And the promise is this will be for free, online in PDF and in books in physical form if somebody wanted. So we're working with projects like that. What are our next plans? Okay, let me see if I can. Maybe we will not listen to the music, but look at that. This is something that we are doing with a brother in Honduras. He's very, very gifted on driving and all of that. And so I said, brother, I would love to have, because I have been in the need to teach the history of the particular Baptist for our church, for other churches, other pastors, and maybe with some pictures will be helpful to teach them, some of the history. So we are trying to illustrate the little book of Dr. Renehan, call it Confessing the Faith in the 1644 and 1689. We put it in the way of a little book. And this is the material we have when the people ask for the particular Baptist history, in a very practical way. So he's working on that. His name is Noé. He's in Honduras. And, we are trying to work with this to teach our children, our people, this is when the particular Baptists learned that some people were saying that they were Anabaptist. So you can see the confusion in their hands. Now, then this is the idea of the leaders of the Presbyterian movement in London revising the new confession and seeing if that was correct or not, orthodox or not, because these people looks like very bad people. But then somebody said, but what they said is correct. And some of them said, yeah, but that is poison. You remember that story? Yeah. This is when they are writing the confession. We put, I'm using Pastor Ron Miller. I sending him the picture and say, brother, is this okay? Jorge, I don't know. That's like too modern. You need to change that word. That looks like, all that work, and trying to be faithful and to have something that could be helpful for our people. And let me talk to you about this project. Okay, this is our new beloved son. So one of the big things is to put our books in Spanish. But one of the big problems is that the English of our forefathers use is a very old English, not easy. Sometimes very, very easy to misrepresenting what they are saying. So it's a very focused and precise language that we need to work. So not everybody could do that. And one of the things that we have seen is Alain now have the experience. He have been working for many, many months and hours on the language, on this, all of that. And one of the big problems we have now is we have just one Alain. If somebody knows something about clonation, I will be very interested to listen to you. But Alain, it's working hard. He's very, looking to the details and doing all this work. But we need to train other people. We cannot stop and then, trying to work on that. So we need to train them while we are doing what we are doing. So this academia or Translators Academy, that's the idea. It's a project that we want to do every year. And this is some of the idea. We will use 18 weeks, like 4 months and a half. And we will invite people that they will, fill a form of if they know English, maybe with some things that we will ask for them. They need to be members of a Reformed Baptist church with the recommendation of their pastors, all of that. But then they will be with us receiving some classes and spending time with Alain. For example, let's say that we will use the Friday evening for 4 months and a half. Every Friday they will use 3 hours. The first hour will be like a lecture, and the 2 other hours will be just practical working, looking to the text. This is what you do when you find something like that. This is the tool you need to have when you have something like that. It's a very precise and a very, important work to know how to do it and how to work with that. So we are hoping to every year pick one of our forefathers, like this year, this coming year, the first year, will be Benjamin Beddome. And we know that Benjamin Beddome have like 4 books, call it 20 20 short discourses for family worship, something like that. So this means 80 sermons. And there's another book with a little more larger sermons. So our desire is to give us a homework, one of the sermons of Benjamin Beddome every week, and then the students change what they did in the week so they can, revise each other, and then talking with Alain, trying to understand how to do it better. So trying to do a very important and precise work, but they will be receiving some lectures on, for example, the life of Benjamin Beddome or the world of Benjamin Beddome to understand better the author. Some lectures on Old English, trying to understand how to see some of the structures of the Old English. And at the same time, some Spanish grammar lessons in order to be, very clear on that. And we are hoping that from this academy that we will do every year, we can have more translators and more people, prepare for working with us in this. So I hope in 20 years, we will have more and more than what we have right now. And more people prepared to do that. So please pray for that. We are very excited about this project. And we hope to begin maybe in February or March next year. So this is the idea, just working with some of the things. And how to partner with us. This is the last thing to see. There is a lot of needs that, churches could be a blessing. One of the big needs is, this is pictures in Cuba. The people show me like their treasures, these books that they print in home. It's not easy at all to print books. So they show me, these books that they print, and I was thinking how to bring some books for them, how to print books here. So projects like this, or Venezuela, sending books and giving books or confessions or a copy of the confession or the catechism to different churches, that is a blessing and something that you can be part of that. Definitely we need to grow more and more in our team. Right now we ask a brother in Colombia to work with us in all the selling part in order to see that every Reformed Baptist church that we know, if they have access to our books. This is something that I cannot do, So I say, hey, I will give you the list, the number of the pastors, call them and see, hey, do you have our books? Is any way that you can have it? Yes, okay. Are you interested to have our books in your church? Things like that, just to open more and more the opportunity so everybody could receive our books. We have projects like the one of the Academy of Translators. So there is many, many ways that you can help. And of course, the more important one is praying for us, praying for Alain. Alain is right now here in Florida, and he's waiting for the time he needs to wait until he receives the formal papers and things here in the U.S. And that's a very important part of our work. Alain is a very important part of our team in that sense. And pray for that. Pray for the process. We are hoping and seeing if it's possible for him to move to Georgia, specifically to Macon. We are praying for that. We are not sure about the future. You can imagine it's very hard to think clear on that. We are praying for him and for the team and for more translators and more churches. And may the Lord help us to be faithful to this wonderful ministry that He have, in His mercy, give us and put it in our hands. So that's what I want to share with you. I hope this encouraged you. There's people reading James Renehan in Chile, in Paraguay, and other places, and that's amazing. That's amazing. When I talked to Dr. Renehan, that 3 months that I told you in the past, he said, Jorge, thank you for that trip to Chile. He was very happy to see people reading and with all of that. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you for the blessing to share with you this. There's some books in the table. Some of you have asked, hey, they have a cost or something. I would say this. Thinking that book's like a gift from us, so you can take whatever book you want. I know it's in Spanish, but maybe you know somebody in Spanish that could read it. And if you want to give an offer or something, there's a little basket there and you can do that. Okay? Thank you very much, and thank you for the privilege to share with you this.